Welcome. Today we're going to dive into a really fascinating topic. How do you actually measure the health and quality of a software development process? We're going beyond just speed and deadlines to look at the metrics that truly matter.
You know, every team wants to know if they're doing a good job, but hitting deadlines is only half the battle. What if your code is a house of cards? Or what if your process is a tangled mess? This is the core challenge we're tackling today. How do you measure what truly matters in software development?
And really, the answer lies in looking a little deeper. It's not just about the final product, it's about the process of creating it. So let's explore 4 powerful metrics that give us a much clearer picture of what's happening under the hood.
Okay, our first metric is called code churn. This one is all about measuring the stability of your code base.
So, what is it exactly? Well, code churn is a pretty straightforward measurement of change. It tracks how much your code is being rewritten. You know, lines added, lines changed, and lines removed over a specific period. Think of it like the rate of turbulence in your project's code. Now, this metric, it reveals a lot. Consistently high churn can be a big red flag. It might be hinting at shifting project requirements or maybe a shaky initial design. I mean, if you're constantly ripping out and redoing work, something's not right. On the other hand, a stable, controlled level of churn suggests your team is on a really solid path, building on a stable foundation.
All right, let's move on to our second metric and see how this builds. Commit frequency. This one gives us a ton of insight into the rhythm and discipline of the development team.
Just like it sounds, this metric tracks how often developers are saving their work to the central code repository. It's kind of like a measure of the team's pulse. Are they checking in code in small, regular intervals or in these huge, infrequent batches? And this matters a lot. A high frequency of small, focused commits is a hallmark of a disciplined team. See, each commit represents a small logical change. This is great practice because if something goes wrong, it's so much easier to pinpoint the exact change that caused the problem. It makes debugging and collaboration way more efficient. Okay, on to metric number 3, code coverage. This one shifts our focus to quality assurance and how thoroughly the code is actually being tested. Code coverage gives you a number, a percentage, that tells you how much of your code is actually being run by your automated tests. So if you have 100 lines of code and your tests run through 80 of them, you've got 80% code coverage. Simple as that. So why does this number matter so much? Well, a higher coverage percentage means better quality testing. It really is that simple. More of your code has been validated, and that directly translates to a lower risk of bugs and a more reliable product. It's basically your safety net. And that brings us to our 4th and final key metric, defect density. This is one of the most direct measures of the quality of the code itself. Defect density is just a simple ratio. You take the number of confirmed bugs or defects, and you divide it by the size of your code base, which is usually measured in thousands of lines of code. So for example, if you find 5 bugs in a 1,000-line program, your defect density is 5. Now with this metric, a lower number is definitely what you're aiming for. A low defect density is a really powerful signal that you have high-quality code. It also reflects that your entire process, from design and development all the way to testing, is working effectively to prevent bugs in the first place. So we've looked at 4 pretty distinct metrics, but the real power, it comes not from looking at them in isolation, but by seeing the complete picture they paint when you view them all together.
So let's do a quick recap. We've got code churn for stability, commit frequency for process discipline, code coverage for test quality, and defect density for the ultimate code quality. Each one gives you a totally different lens to view the health of your project.
And here is probably the most important takeaway of all. These metrics are not for performance reviews. They're not for blaming individuals. Their real power lies in diagnosing the health of your team's process. They are conversation starters that empower the whole team to improve and build better software together. So, I'll leave you with this question. Which of these metrics could be a total game changer for your team? Where's your biggest opportunity to level up? Thanks for joining us.